Hello and welcome to PowerProtect Data Manager Appliance 5.16 release. I'm Sonali Verma from Technical Marketing Engineering team, and in this video we'll be seeing multi-factor authentication with RSA SecureID. Now let's see what's RSA SecureID MFA. It's created by RSA Data Security and is an MFA technology designed to increase security for network resources and help organizations maintain compliance. It combines password or PIN authentication with hardware authentication in the form of physical or virtual token. Prior to 5.16 release, DM5500 supported multi-factor authentication with Google and Microsoft authentication only. However, with 5.16 release, it now supports RSA SecureID multi-factor authentication as well. There are a few points to be noted here that only one can be enabled at a time in this appliance. When RSA SecureID is enabled, it's applicable for local appliance users as well as AD users. And admin and security officer users are by default added in the bypass list and cannot be removed from there. Also, audit logs will be shown in Audit Logs tab in the appliance UI. Now let's go over some of the prereqs in order to configure RSA SecureID with the DM5500 appliance. So first and foremost, the RSA SecureID server needs to be deployed and configured. For local users, username of the local user configured in RSA server and RSA token needs to be assigned to it. For AD users, AD server is added and configured into the RSA SecureID. Thirdly, network connectivity needs to be available between RSA server and DM5500 appliance. Few information that we need to keep handy is the REST API authentication. When it's enabled over RSA server, copy the access key information. Also, RSA server certificate needs to be downloaded and kept handy for the configuration. Lastly, configure the authentication agent on RSA and keep the client ID ready. Now let's go over the demo to see how we can configure multi-factor authentication with RSA SecureID. First, we will log into PowerProtect Data Manager Appliance and go to Administration Access Control. We have a local user created over here and we can see its MFA authentication status as disabled. So we'll go to MFA tab and we can see from this release, it does support GOTP and RSA SecureID. So we'll expand RSA SecureID, click on configure and start providing all these details that we need to grab it from RSA server. So we will log into our RSA server security login to fetch all the information required about the RSA server. Starting off with RSA server host name or IP address. So we'll grab the information from the URL as we have logged into the RSA server and paste it into the appliance. Next is the client ID, which is the authentication agent. So we'll go to Access Authentication Agent, Manage Existing. This is something that we have pre-created on our RSA server. So we'll grab this authentication agent, which is the client ID, and paste it into our appliance client ID field. Next is access key. So we'll go back to RSA server, setup, system settings. Click on RSA SecureID Authentication API, enable the Authentication API to see the access key information. Copy that and paste it to the appliance. Next is the certificate. So we will export the certificate and open it in Notepad++ after exporting it. And from Notepad++, you can copy your certificate information and paste it into the appliance. Next, you can see the advanced settings, that is connection timeout, read timeout, and the port information. You can see it is same as seen in the RSA server. The connection port is 5555. Next, click on test setup for the verification to be done. If all your details provided are correct, it will give a green flag, check mark, and click on save. Okay, so voila, your RSA SecureID has been successfully configured. If you go back to your user groups, you can see the local user has MFA status as enabled now. Our admin and security officer users are bypassed by default for MFA, so we do see bypass status.
Now we'll verify this. Our first use case will log out and log in with our local user where MFA has been enabled. So it will ask us for RSA passcode as it's seen over here. We'll copy the RSA passcode and paste it over here for our multi-factor authentication. We can see that it has successfully logged in. The next use case is we can bypass the MFA. So click on Edit, click the checkbox, Bypass, and save this information. For the next login, it won't ask for the RSA passcode if we use the bypass option. So let's do the second use case. We'll log in with our local user Sonali and we'll see that only with the password information we could log in successfully. Now with MFA tab, as we said, it does support TOTP and RSA SecureID from 5.16 release, but only one of them can be enabled at a time, either RSA SecureID or TOTP. So in case we want to go to TOTP authentication, we will have to disable RSA SecureID as we did just now and then enable the TOTP option. If you want to go back to your RSA SecureID, you will need to disable the TOTP and then you will be able to enable back the RSA SecureID. And you will be able to see its status as enabled, RSA enabled at the right side. Right now, if you go to your users group, you will be able to see your local user has been reset with the MFA status as enabled.
Kindly note, the same workflow will work with AD users as well. The only difference is bypass option is only supported with local users and not AD users. And that's how we can set up MFA with RSA. Thank you all for watching.